A wizard's ancient spell.
Into the eyes of the dragon and in despair.
And the lust of a lord.
I must have her. One night with her.
Give birth to an empire.
Behold the sword of power, Excalibur.
Silly with the star shoes, shimmy shuffle down. We pass one feeling alright, 'cause with little Willie round they can last all night. Hey down, stay down, stay down, down. 'Cause little Willie won't go home, but you can't push Willie round. Willie won't go. Try telling everybody what. Oh no, little Willie won't go home.
Willy-Nilly Night is a turn-based role-playing game with a terrible name. It also has mostly positive on Steam reviews. Is it any good? Well, I'm not sure. Willy-Nilly Night is loosely connected to the legend of King Arthur, and you get to follow the young Arthur who gets sucked into a fantasy world. Along with the 3 companions, you are tasked with killing some evil dudes, and you get to run around in a handful of locations fighting monsters. The story is not very good, and it's neither very believable or very entertaining, and a lot of the side stuff is nothing more than silly pop culture references. I am not a big fan of this, and I would have preferred it if they fleshed out the story and the characters or the locations you are in instead, so you actually cared a bit more about the story. The presentation in the game is very mixed. Nothing looks amazing or all that impressive, but some of the environments look decent enough, while other environments doesn't really look all that good. There is no voice acting in the game, and the camera can be a bit annoying at times when it jumps around due to rapid increase or decrease in the surface height. The pathfinding in the game is also very lacking, and sometimes it's just a bit annoying, but in combat it can be a big annoyance. RPG wise, you have 4 characters: a melee tank, a melee DPS, a ranger, and a wizard with some healing abilities. Each character has a skill tree, but it's very limited, and at the end of the game you will have almost maxed out the entire skill tree. Overall, the character customization is pretty weak and not very interesting. There are some different weapons and armors which you can find or buy, but it's mostly thieved stuff. And what I mean by that is, you may find one level 10 armor and one level 15 armor, and the level 15 armor is better than the level 10 armor in every way possible. Sure, it still adds some progression, but it's not very interesting. Another sad thing is that the items that you equip doesn't change the appearance of your characters. The biggest part of this game is the turn-based combat. It starts off a bit boring, as you only have 2 party members, but it becomes better as you get the full party. It does, however, take quite a long time until you get the full party. The combat is a mixed bag though. At times I found it relaxing and kind of enjoyable, but I also found it pretty boring at times. If you are charitable, you could call it competent, but a bit shallow. You don't have that many active skills, and the enemies in particular are really lacking in interesting skills. Most enemies simply attack the closest hero, and most fights are handled by advancing your tank to get all the aggro, and then you simply mow down all the enemies. It also doesn't help that you fight the same enemy composition over and over again. To be fair, you do have some mini-bosses, but they are also lacking in skills, and they are mostly just upscaled versions of the normal enemies. When writing this review, I noticed that I come off as pretty negative about this game, and I do want to point out that I did to some extent enjoy the game, but it did drag out a bit. I completed it in around 10 hours, and sure, there were some enjoyable moments, and it was relaxing at times, but it's also a bit boring and a bit uninteresting, and in most regards it's very clear that it's inferior to its competitors in almost all regards. Perhaps the game is meant for a younger audience, but I didn't enjoy it that much, even though I didn't hate it or found it offensive in any way. I have a hard time recommending it to adults, unless they are really into turn-based games, have a lot of time on their hands, and are fine with some shallow gameplay.
Ikuzo! ここが貴様の七だ！バーサーカー！